ओमज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाखया चक्षुरुन्मिलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे नमः। श्रीचैतन्यमनोभीष्टं स्थापितं येन भूतले स्वयं रूप कदा मह्यं ददाति स्वपदान्तिकम्। वन्देऽहं श्रीगुरो श्रीयुतपदकमलं श्रीगुरुन् वैष्णवांश्च श्रीरूपं साग्रजातं सहगना रघुनाथान्वितं तं सजीवं साद्वैतं सावधूतं परिजनसहितं कृष्ण चैतन्य देवं श्रीराधा कृष्ण पदान् सहगना ललिता श्रीविशाखान्वितांश्च हे कृष्ण करुणा सिन्धु दीनबन्धो जगत्पते गोपेश गोपिकान्त श्रीराधाकान्त नमोस्तुते। तप्त कांचन गौरांगी श्रीराधे वृंदावनेश्वरी वृषभानुसुते देवी प्रणमामि हरिप्रिये। नमो ओं विष्णुपादाय कृष्णप्रेष्ठाय भूतले श्रीमते भक्तिवेदांत स्वामिनेति नामिने। नमस्ते सरस्वती देवे गौरवाणी प्रचारिणे निर्विशेष शून्यवादी पाश्चात्य देशतारिणे। जय श्री कृष्ण चैतन्य प्रभो नित्यानंद श्री अद्वैत गदाधर श्रीवासादि गौर भक्त वृंदा। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। हरे कृष्ण 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 हरे 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 राम 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 हरे हरे। गुरवे गौरचन्द्राय राधिकायै तदालये कृष्णाय कृष्णभक्ताय तद्भक्ताय नमो नमः। आनन्दलीलामय विग्रहाय हेमावदिव्यछविसुन्दराय तस्मै महाप्रेम रसप्रदाय श्रीचैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। चैतन्यचन्द्राय नमो नमस्ते। नित्यानन्दमहं नौमि सर्वानन्दकरं परं हरिनामप्रदं देवम् अवधूत शिरोमणि। वृन्दायै तुलसीदेव्यायै प्रियायै केशवस्य च कृष्णभक्तिप्रते देवी सत्यवत्यै नमो नमः। श्री वृंदा देवी तुलसी महारानी की जय। श्री शचिनंदन गौरांग महाप्रभु की जय। श्री नित्यानंद राम की जय। समस्त गौर भक्त वृंद की जय। हरे कृष्ण। Thank you dear devotees for very kindly joining on this most auspicious occasion of the first day of Kartik. Needless to say, the glories of this month are spread far and wide. Hardly there is anyone in our society, not just in ISKCON, but throughout the Vaishnava Samaj, this whole month is celebrated and glorified to the best possible extent. This discussion that we are attempting about the aura of Gaura, the pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, it's a very humble attempt to cleanse my heart. I am speaking this out of my greed to cleanse my heart. It is for personal purification. But throughout the discussion of the 19-20 days that we are going to meet, if there is anything inspirational that comes up, that inspires us to chant and hear more during this month of Kartik, the whole and soul credit goes to our Srila Prabhupada. If not for Srila Prabhupada, none of us, probably none of us, would be eager to celebrate the month of Kartik. We would have heard that there is a month called as Kartik. Like you see in Maharashtra, the month of Ashad is very prominent. They have Ekadashi, Ashadi Ekadashi, they say. The month of Ashad is very famous. Likewise, Kartik we may have heard, but I'm pretty sure we would have not known the glories of this month of Kartik and the eagerness and the intensity that we carry to perform devotional services on this month during this time frame, if not for Srila Prabhupada. Srila Prabhupada, when he came to America, he not just got the holy name. When he came down to this world, he not just got the holy name. Srila Prabhupada brought the whole spiritual world down. It's not just he got the holy name, the whole spiritual world was brought down by Srila Prabhupada. And one of the gifts, of the many gifts that Prabhupada gave the society, is this holy month of Kartik. So today, on this auspicious occasion of Sharadiya Ras Purnima, also called as Sharada Purnima, of course in America it's today, and I think in India it's tomorrow. I may be wrong, I'm not exactly sure, but in America at least it's celebrated today. So today in our discussion, we will not directly jump into the pastimes of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, because we have all the time to do that. But today, we will try to see the glories, Kartik Mahima, the glories of this month. It's today in India. Thank you. Thank you for confirming. We will see the glories of this month. What are few of the instances, pastimes that are mentioned in the Shastra in connection with this month? And most important, that most devotees have a question. What are the do's and don'ts? What are the things that I should be doing in Kartik? And what are the things that I can refrain from in this month of Kartik? So in the limited time that we have, let us try to absorb our hearts, our minds, our intellect, our whole body in this discussion of Krishna Katha, Gaur Katha, Kartik Mahima Katha. Seldom do we get an opportunity to discuss about the glories of Kartik month. It's only during this time frame. And for this glories, for this Mahima, we almost wait one full year. We don't hear it any other time. It's only during this time. So if during this time, if we aren't attentive, if we are a little lazy and if we procrastinate, then the loss is immense. The gain is also going to be immense, but the loss will also be immense if Krishna Katha. So having said this, the class has still not begun. It's a just humble, small introduction, trying to inspire one and all that may we give our complete mind, heart, body, soul, everything, all our senses in hearing Krishna Katha. Having said this, dear devotees, I very humbly want to prostrate myself a million times at the lotus feet of my most worshipable spiritual master, Sri Srimad Srila Radha Govinda Das Goswami Maharaj, and similarly at the lotus feet of all the wonderful, glorious disciples of Srila Prabhupada who are traveling around the world relentlessly in their old age, not caring for their health, but relentlessly traveling around the world, preaching this most wonderful, glorious message of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. My very humble obeisances to all the exalted sadhus in our Brahma Madhva Gaudiya Sampradaya, to all our acharyas. And finally, my most humble obeisances at the lotus feet of Nityalila Pravishta, Om Vishnupad Ashtottara Shata, His Divine Grace, Abhay Charanaravinda, Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. And Finally, to all the assembled devotees who have come here to inspire me with your presence, I very humbly prostrate myself. Please accept my very humble obeisances and bless me and pray for me so that I may speak some words that is in line with our Shastra and favorable to our ears and our hearts. Please accept my very humble obeisances. Vancha kalpatarobhyascha kripa sindhubhya eva cha patitanam pavanebhyo vaishnavebhyo namo namaha. Ananta koti bhakti vrinda ki jai. As we mentioned, that today's discussion would be primarily centered around this month of Kartik. And we see that this holy month goes by three names. This holy month has three names. The first name for this month is also called as Damodar Mas. Masa basically means month, and Damodar is Damodar. So it's also called as Damodar Mas. The second name for this very wonderful, glorious month is Kartik Mas. Mas again means month, and Kartik. It's called as Kartik. Why it's called as Kartik, we will come to it later. So the first name for this month is Damodar Mas. Second, it's called as Kartik Mas. And third, and very interesting, this month is also called as Urjavarat. It also goes by a third name called as Urjavarat. Now, what do they mean? What is their significance? How was the naming ceremony done? We will see that in the course of our discussion. But the first name that we mentioned is Damodar Mas. As we mentioned, Masa basically means a month. Now, in the English calendar, we see there are 12 months, right from January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September, October, November, December. January being the first month and December being the last month. It's very interesting that this name January, I was reading at one place, and this name January, it comes from a Greek god. It comes from a Greek god who is apparently two-faced, also called as Janus-faced. Janus-faced is nothing but two-faced. So she is called two-faced, and that's how from Janus-faced the name comes January. So it's very sad to see that we start our year by apparently not worshipping, but apparently we are in a month that is of January where the predominant Greek god has two-faced. We are always told in Bhakti that whatever we are externally, that's the same thing we should be internally also. We should not be two-faced. But January, interestingly, comes from Janus-faced or two-faced. But our Vedic calendar has names that are very different. The Vedic calendar does not follow the Western tradition. The Vedic calendar has names. The first month of the Vedic calendar is called as Chaitra, Chaitra Mas. Likewise, the second month is called as Vaishak. And like that, you have months Chaitra, Vaishak, you have Jeshta, Ashad, Shravan, Ashwin, Kartik, and many others. Paush, Magh. So 12 months are there, and there are 6 seasons. We are talking in connection with the Vedic calendar. So there are 12 months starting from Chaitra, ending with Magh, and it has 6 seasons, which means every season lasts for 2 months. So you have winter, you have summer, you have fall, you have rain, so on and so forth. So in the Indian tradition or the Vedic tradition, you have 6 seasons and 12 months, and every season spanning a period of 2 months. One of those months is the month of Kartik. So when we say Kartik Mas, or this is the month of Kartik, it is one of those months that is there in the Vedic calendar. Now, interestingly, why is this month called as Damodar Mas? Well, because the predominating deity or the worshipable deity of this month of Kartik is Damodar. Now the question arises, why Damodar? Why not any other deity? Why not Radha Govinda? Why not Radha Raman? Why not Baki Bihari? Why not Radha Shyam Sundar? Why not Radha Madhava? Why precisely Damodar? Well, the simple understanding and a very basic understanding is the pastime of Damodar took place in this month. Very simple. The pastime of Damodar took place in this month on the day of Diwali. You will see Diwali is coming. I think on 24th, we're celebrating Diwali. 1 day prior to Govardhan Puja, 1 or 2 days prior to Govardhan Puja. So we see on the day of Diwali was this occasion, this most glorious pastime took place of Maya binding Shri Krishna, binding Lala with the ropes of her pure love. So because the pastime of Damodar took place on this, in this most historic month, it is called as Damodar Mas. This is a very basic understanding. So the worshipable deity is Damodar. Why Damodar? Because Damodar pastime took place. So naturally, because Damodar is worshipable and this pastime took place during this month is also called as Damodar Mas. Second, this month is also called as Kartik Mas. Why Kartik Mas? We see that in the Shastra, it is explained that Krishna, he says, of all the months I am Margashish. Masanam Margashishavam. He says, of all the months I am Margashish. But he doesn't say Margashish is very dear to me. He says, yes, of all the months I am Margashish. But he doesn't say which is the month that is very dear to his heart. The fundamental question that arises is, why is Margashish very dear to Krishna? And Shukadev Goswami answers this in the 10th canto of the Srimad Bhagavatam, that Margashish is dear to Krishna's heart because it was during this month that the gopis, they worshipped Krishna. The unmarried gopis who were there, they worshipped Krishna during this month. And Krishna naturally was conquered by their devotion. He was conquered by their love. So because the unmarried gopis did bhajan, they worship Krishna during this month of Margashish. Krishna says, Masana Margashish. Of all the months, I am Margashish. But he doesn't say it is very dear to his heart. So now we have to investigate as to what is the month that is very dear to Krishna's heart. We see that Srimati Radharani, her mother is called as Kirtida Maya. And in some parallel readings, we find Kirtida is also called as Kirtika. In some parallel readings, we will find Kirtida Maya is also called as Kirtika. And Kirtika's daughter is Kartika Devi, who is Srimati Radharani. So Kirtida is the mother. And in some parallel reading, she is called as Kirtika. And Kirtika's daughter is Kartika. That is Srimati Radharani. And that's how we get the name Kartik. So the name Kartik is derived from Kartika, who is Srimati Radharani, daughter of Kirtika. And Sanskrit is a very, very sweet language, very interesting language. When the word ends with Ka, when the word ends with Ka, it denotes a soft nature of the person, tender heart, soft-hearted person, like Gopi. But if we have to say soft-hearted Gopi, we say Gopika. Kumari, soft-hearted Kumari, tender-hearted Kumari, we say Kumarika. Similarly, Radha, but soft-hearted Radha becomes Radhika. So the word Ka in Sanskrit, basically, when it ends, it denotes a soft-hearted nature. Someone who is very soft-hearted. So, Kirtika, the parallel readings, Kirtida also called as Kirtika, her daughter is Kartika, and from Kartika comes the month called as Kartik. So this word Kartik that we say, oh, it's the month of Kartik, Kartik Mas. The name comes from a name of Radharani called as Kartika. And naturally, because it is coming from Radharani is the Arishthatri Devi. She should be worshipped. She should be glorified. Just like in the altar, we worship Radha and Krishna. Radha Sham Sundar, Radha Madhav, etc. Similarly, Radharani has come in the form of this 1 month. The only difference is the packaging is different. It is being packaged in a different way, but otherwise it's the same fundamental concept. It is that same Srimati Radharani who's coming down in the month of this Kartik, in the form of this Kartik month, the month of these 30 days. So we see the first name for this month is Damodar Mas, because Damodar pastime took place. Second, it is called as Kartik Mas because the Arishthatri Devi, the personality to be glorified, worshipped the most in this month, is Srimati Radharani. Why Radharani? Because the word Kartik itself comes from Kartika, who is Srimati Radharani, daughter of Kirtika, also called as Kirtida. That was the second. Third, this month is also called as Urjavarat. In the Bhakti Rasamrit Sindhu, Nectar of Devotion, Srila Rupa Goswami gives this name. He says this Kartik month can also be called as Urjavarat. What does Urja mean? Urja basically means strength. Urja means strength. We see in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, Balam balavatam chaham kamaraga vivarjitam dharma viruddha bhuteshu kamosmi bharatarshaba. He says, Balam balavatam chaham. If anyone is having strength, Krishna says, I am providing them that strength. I am the strength in those who are strong, Krishna says. So anyone whom we find around who is very strong, it is Krishna who is giving them that strength. If anyone is intelligent around, it is Krishna who is giving that intelligence. Buddhir buddhir matamasmi. If someone is effulgent, Krishna says, Tejas tejas vinamaham. I am giving that tejas. So if someone is strong, intelligent, handsome, beautiful, famous, whatever it is, Krishna is just sharing a quality of his with that person. It is Krishna's quality to be intelligent, to be powerful, to be an erudite scholar. These are Krishna's quality. To be famous, these are Krishna's qualities. And Krishna is just sharing a portion of his quality with his devotees. But the origin is Krishna. So Krishna says, Balam balavatam chaham. Of those who are strong, I am providing them that strength. So this word Urja basically means strength. The word Urja means strength. So Krishna, who provides strength to everybody, he derives his strength from Radharani, who is called as Urjeshwari. One name of Radharani is called as Urjeshwari Sri Radha, because she is all powerful. So Krishna, who is so powerful, who gives strength to everyone, he also derives strength from Radharani, who is called as Urjeshwari. Urjeshwari Srimati Radharani ki jai.
Jai.
So now we see that why is this month called as Urjavarat? It can have any other name also. Why Urjavarat? It is called as Urjavarat because in this month of Kartik, all of us require Urja. Is it not? All of us require strength. All of us take so many vrats. Some may take a vrat of not eating sweets. Some may take a vrat of eating only once a day. Some take a vrat of not eating after sunset. Some take a vrat that I will chant X number of rounds. Some take a vrat that I will hear so many classes every day. And so on and so forth. Some take a vrat, I will do so much Vaishnava Seva. We need strength, dear devotees. We are all weak. We are all weak and we need strength. It's almost like you see during New Year, 1st January, most of us take a New Year resolution that this year I am going to do this. I am going to hit the gym. From 1st January, I am going to hit the gym. And 1st January, 2nd January, 3rd January, we probably go to the gym. And then by the time it's 10th January, back to square one. Punar mushiko bhava. We are again back to the same old scenario, which means we are lacking strength. And this month, we require a lot of strength. We are all taking so much vrat. Today, the enthusiasm is sky high. But we naturally know that after 10 days, after 15 days, the energy level, the intensity, enthusiasm is going to be deflated. It will naturally go down. We need strength, dear devotees. And that is why we worship Urjeshwari Sri Radha, because Urja means strength. She's strength personified. By worshipping Srimati Radharani during this month, we are begging and beseeching her that, my dear Radharani, I don't have strength. Eka ke amar nahi paye bala harinama sankirtane तुमे कृपा कोरी श्रद्धा बिंदु दिया देहो कृष्ण नाम धाने. Narottam Das Thakur says, Ekakiya mar nahi paya bal hari nama sankirtane. That individually we don't have any strength. None of us individually have any strength. But our only hope and only aspiration is by taking shelter of Srimati Radharani, we can get the required, desired strength to sustain the vrat during this holy month of Kartik. If not for Srimati Radharani, it is very difficult to maintain our vrats. So these are the three reasons Srila Rupa Goswami says, three names for this very holy month. First, it's called as Damodar Mas. Why Damodar Mas? Because Damodar pastime took place. Very simple and very straightforward. Second, this month is also called as Kartik Mas. Why Kartik? Because it is coming from the root word Kartika, who is Srimati Radharani. So naturally, it is Radharani who has manifested herself as the Kartik month. And this is why Krishna says of the months I am Margashish. But what is the month that is dear to his heart? It is Kartik. Because Radharani is there. Radharani has now appeared as this month of Kartik, 30-day time frame. And naturally, wherever there is Radhika, our Shyam Sundar's heart is always there. So he says Margashish, of all the months I am Margashish, because the unmarried gopis did the vrat, Katyayani vrat. But the most dear to his heart is the month of Kartik. And finally, Rupa Goswami in Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, also called as the nectar of devotion, he explains this month is also called as Urjavarat. Urja means strength, and Radharani is called as Urjeshwari. Radharani provides strength to Krishna, who provides strength to the whole world. That is the power of Srimati Radharani. So, offering our obeisances to Urjeshwari Sri Radha and begging her blessings to kindly accept us and give us the required strength to perform the Kartik Vrata. Let us all kindly get into our today's discussion of Kartik Mahima. Up until now, we are only discussing the three names of this month of Kartik that our Acharyas have given. But very beautifully, in the Padma Puran, there is a conversation between Krishna and Satyabhama. Krishna and Satyabhama. Now, who is Satyabhama? Srimati Radharani. Srimati Radharani, when she leaves Braj, she is Satyabhama. Lalita leaves Braj, she is Jambavati. And our Chandravali, when she leaves Braj, she is Rukmini. So when Krishna leaves Braj, the Vraja Gopis, they also leave Vrindavan and they take forms of the principal 8 queens in Dwaraka. So in the Padma Puran, there's a conversation between Krishna and Satyabhama. And Krishna there is explaining a very beautiful pastime. Krishna is explaining that there was once a Brahmana by the name Dhaneshwar. His name was Dhaneshwar. Interestingly, his name was Dhaneshwar. Dhana means wealth, and Ishwar means Lord. He was the Lord of wealth. His name was Dhaneshwar, but he himself had no wealth. He was almost like Sudama. In Sanskrit, there is a very beautiful saying, Namatu Dhanapali Tathasa Nirdhanam. The name is Dhanapali. A person may have the name as Dhanapali, protector of wealth. But Tathapi Sa Nirdhanam. He will be bereft of any wealth. The name is protector of wealth, but he himself has no wealth. Namasutu Dhanapali Tathapi Sa Nirdhanam. He will have no wealth. So here also, this personality, his name was Dhaneshwar. But interestingly, he had not much wealth. But he was a Brahmana. He was a Brahmana by birth. But sadly, what happened was in due course of his life, he got into different bad habits that he fell down. From his Brahminical birth, he fell down and started becoming very sinful. He was engaged in all the breaking of all four regulative principles. He was engaged in all of that to the highest possible extent. Meat eating, gambling, illicit sex, intoxication, everything. Completely. Breaking of four regulative principles to the highest degree possible. Someone who was a Brahmana now had almost become a Shudra, living the life of a Shudra. And to maintain himself, he would sell liquor. Imagine, Brahmana is now selling liquor. He would sell blankets, just trying to make a living. Whatever he had, he would sell and he would just make money because he also had a family to feed. So he would sell blankets, he would sell liquor, and that's how he would maintain. But completely, from a Brahminical birth, he had completely fallen down. Now, it so happened that in the attempt of selling his blankets, he happened to go to the place called as Mahishmati on the banks of Narmada River. He was originally from the place of Avanti. Avanti is the present-day Ujjain. In the Bhagavatam also we find Krishna, when he goes to Sandipani Muni, he goes to Avanti. The ashram of Sandipani Muni is in Avanti, present-day Ujjain. So this Brahmana was originally from Avanti, but now, who apparently was a Brahmana, had fallen to a Shudra level, was now going to Mahishmati, not for bhakti, not for bhajan, but he was going to make wealth. He was going there to sell whatever blankets he had. He went and as he was there on the banks of Narmada, whatever cloth he had, he would sell everything to the people there, to the Vaishnava Samaj. And he saw that so many devotees had assembled there. Some were chanting, some were hearing, some were meditating, some were speaking Shastra, some were waist deep in the river of Narmada and they were doing Gayatri. Some were waist deep and chanting the prayers of Bhagavatam, completely absorbed. And his mind, he was constantly seeing the impressions that he had was that of devotees. All around, he was just seeing devotees. And he was thinking to himself that these people have left everything and they've come here and they're chanting and hearing. And to help himself, he was selling whatever he had got in the form of blankets. Of course, not liquor. Brahmanas don't take liquor, but whatever blankets he had, he would sell that, and he was making his living. And as he was doing that, as he was maintaining his living, it so happened that that month was the month of Kartik. He didn't know it. He had no idea, but it happened to be the month of Kartik. And now, because it was the month of Kartik, he was hearing holy name, he was hearing Bhagavatam, he was seeing the devotees, and now he was giving blankets, which means he was doing Vaishnava Seva. He was doing everything possible during the best time frame, the month of Kartik. And the icing on the cake, dear devotees, the Padma Purana explains, Krishna speaking this to Satyabhama, the icing on the cake was when the last day of Kartik, that is Kartik Purnima. The first day is called as Sharad Purnima, the last day is called as Kartik Purnima. And both these days, Krishna performs the Rasa dance. Both these days, Krishna has the Rasa Leela. Sharad Purnima and Kartik Purnima. So on the last day of the Kartik Purnima, last day of this month of Kartik, there was a Jagaran that the devotees were doing. All night Jagaran. All night they were chanting, hearing, speaking about Krishna, meditating about Krishna, sharing their realizations of this month of Kartik. And this so-called Brahmana who had not fallen to Shudra, he had nothing to do because he was not getting sleep because there was Kirtan going around everywhere. So he was not getting sleep. So accidentally, he also ended up doing Jagaran. And that same night, As he was doing Jagran, as he was awake, hearing, chanting, meditating, there was a serpent, black serpent, that bit him. And as the serpent bit him, immediately he fell unconscious and fell to the ground. Now the devotees were paradukha dukhi. Devotees are paradukha dukhi. Parasukha sukhi and paradukha dukhi. But generally we see those who are conditioned are parasukha dukhi and paradukha sukhi. If others are sad, we become happy. And if others are happy, we become sad. It's the complete opposite. Parasukha dukhi and paradukha sukhi. But in reality, devotees means paradukha dukhi. We become sad by seeing others sad. And now when he was bit by a serpent, the devotees, they left everything and they tried to get him back to consciousness. And they had some Ganga water that they were using. They had Ganga water, they had Narmada water in their palm. So they sprinkled that upon this person. And it was not just Ganga and Narmada water, but it also had Tulsi leaves in it. So with Tulsi leaves in it, they sprinkled that on this person. But sadly, he died. Even though they tried to revive him, he didn't come back to external consciousness, but he died. So the last thing that he got was Ganga water. The last thing that he got was Narmada water. And the last thing that he got was Tulsi. And he left this world. When? During the month of Kartik. When in Kartik? During Kartik Purnima. That also when Krishna is performing his rasa dance. So the best possible destination was gifted to him. Now as he died, the Yamadutas naturally came there. Because for the Yamadutas, it was almost like this person who was Dhaneshwar, they were giving him a red carpet. Throughout the life, he did so many anarthas and so many breaking of the four regulative principles. He was almost given a red carpet entry to the lower planets, to hell. And Chitragupta, he saw and he said, oh, this person has not done anything good. He has not done practically anything good. And when Yamaraj heard this from Chitragupta, Chitragupta has the records. Who's doing what? कौन कितना भक्ति कर रहे हैं, कितना भजन करते हैं, इसका जो रिकॉर्ड है, ये चित्रगुप्त जी रखते हैं. He keeps the record. So he saw that, oh, he has not done anything. Nothing devotional, nothing pious. And Yamaraj, when he heard this, Yamaraj gave a standing instruction to the Yamadutas. Take him to Kumbhipaka. You see in the 5th canto, there are 28 types of hell that is described. And one of them is Kumbhipaka. And Yamaraj gave a standing instruction. Take him to Kumbhipaka and put him in boiling oil. Because that's what he deserves. He's a Brahmana. But being a Brahmana, he gave up all Brahminical birth. And he was living the life of a Shudra. Meat eating, intoxication, gambling, illicit sex to the highest degree possible. Send him to Kumbhipaka and he should burn there. So he was taken to Kumbhipaka. And as he was taken to Kumbhipaka, naturally the whole place, Krishna is describing, this is a real story. Krishna is describing this to Satyabhama. The whole place of Kumbhipaka became very cool. It became very cool, as if it's filled with ice. In reality, Kumbhipaka is where people are burnt with boiling oil. Those who are very sinful. Those are very sinful. But now it became so cool that even the Yamadutas, they were scratching their head. How is it that this person who is so sinful and so abominable, this person, this place has become so cold? They were thinking, what has happened? So they went to Yamaraj. That, my dear Prabhu, my dear Swami, there is some problem. When we brought him there, the whole place became very cool. You see in Goswami Tulsidas, he very beautifully, out of his humility, he says that I am so fallen. Tulsidas is saying, he's saying, I am so fallen that I will be taken to hell. He who has composed Ramcharitmanas, out of his humility, is saying, I am so fallen that I will be taken to hell. And when I will be taken to hell, when the other hell residents, when they will hear that, oh, Tulsidas is coming, they will close their nose. that, oh, hell is already very bad, but now that Tulsi has come, that is Tulsi Das, it has become more abominable. Tulsi Das is saying, Mausam kaun, more is, who's more abominable or more sinful than me? Kutila Kalakhami. Mausam kaun Kutila Kalakhami. Who is more sinful than me? It's not that Tulsidas is sinful, but out of his humility, he's saying it. Likewise, Kaviraj Goswami also says, Mui se papisha. He says, I am more sinful than Jagai and Madai. This is not reality. Kaviraj Goswami is the highest of the highest sadhus who has written Chaitanya Charitamrita. But out of his humility, he says, oh, I am more sinful than Jagai and Madhai. So we see that here, this Brahmana who had apparently fallen down was taken to Kumbhipaka, and now this whole transformation, that place where people are burnt in boiling oil now had become very cold. So they went back. They went back to Yamaraj. And they asked Yamaraj, my dear Swami, what happened? Now even Yamaraj was thinking, what actually happened? Seems like Chitragupta has made some mistake. Seems like there is some calculation mistake. And at that time, Narad Muni comes there, playing his veena. Narad Muni bajaye veena, Radhika Ramana name. O Narad Muni bajaye veena, Radhika Ramana name. Narad Muni comes there playing his veena, chanting the names of Radharani and Krishna. And Narad Muni, he tells Yamaraj that, my dear Yamaraj, he was sinful. Yes, agreed. He was very sinful. But for the 30 days that he was there in Mahishmati, on the banks of Narmada, he was hearing the holy name. He was not chanting, but he was hearing the holy name. He was looking at sadhus. The waters of Narmada was touching his feet. It was touching his body. He was hearing people chant prayers. More importantly, sadhus were seeing him and he was seeing sadhus. And if this was everything, my dear Yamaraj, let me remind you, it was the month of Kartik. It was the holy month of Kartik. Narottam Das Thakur very beautifully explains. Gangara parosha hoile paschate pavan darshane pavitra koro eto margon. Darshane pavitra koro ei tumara gun. Gangara parasha hoile paschate pavan. Narottam Das Thakur, he says that one may become purified by taking a dip in Ganga. But for that, Ganga doesn't come to us. We have to go to Ganga. Wherever we are, if we are in the US, Ganga doesn't come here. We have to take flight and then we have to go there and then we have to take a dip. And that's when we become purified. Ganga doesn't come. But Narottam Das Thakur says greater than Ganga also are the pure Vaishnavas. Why? Darshane pavitra koro ejo margon. Darshane pavitra koro ejo margon. That just by looking at sadhus, one becomes purified. For Ganga, we have to go to Ganga. But sadhus are so kind that they're constantly traveling. Whether we want or not, they will come in front of us. And just by they looking at us and we looking at them, and having mutual exchange of vision, the person is completely purified. When we look at pure Vaishnavas, all the sins that are there gets completely destroyed. This is the power of looking at pure Vaishnavas. Very powerful. And now for 30 days, this is what he was doing. And Narad Muni says, my dear Yamaraj, if this was everything, let me also remind you that when he departed this world, there was Narmada water and Ganga water on his tongue, and there was Tulasi on his tongue. Someone who's having Tulasi on the tongue, who's having Ganga water or Narmada water, devotees surrounded, he is hearing holy name, He's hearing verses. How can that person possibly belong in hell? My dear Yamaraj, you are a Mahajan. You are a Mahajan. You please kindly tell me, someone who accidentally has got this fortune for 30 days in the month of Kartik, how does he even belong here? And when Yamaraj hears this, he understands and he says, my dear Narad Muni, I'm really sorry, there was a calculation mistake. Seems like Chitragupta he has made a mistake. My dear Narad Muni, I guarantee you that anyone who performs this month of Kartik will never ever have to come to this very bad and sinful and a miserable place called as hell. Anyone who performs this month of Kartik, it is a guarantee. Yamaraj, the CEO of hell, is giving a guarantee. Someone who performs this month of Kartik will never, ever, 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 ever have to go to the lower planetary systems. Even if someone is a Brahmana and has stooped down to the level of Shudra, but if he has performed the month of Kartik, Radharani is so kind. We were making this point. It is Radharani who's coming as the month of Kartik. Radhika is so kind that she forgives everything. And the person is still accepted. So finally, this personality, that is Dhaneshwar, was taken out from hell because he didn't belong there. And he is now the follower of Kubera, who takes care of wealth. The treasurer of wealth. He is the follower of Kubera. And he goes by the name Dhana Yaksha. Now Krishna is telling the story to Satyabhama. Now we will have this question. Why is Krishna giving material benefits? Why is Krishna saying that, oh, you perform Kartik, you will not go to hell and you will get this benefit, that benefit? Why is he giving material benefits? Devotees want spiritual benefits. Devotees perform bhakti, it is Ananya Bhakti. We are performing bhakti, we are performing the month of Karti to become Ananya Bhaktas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, not to have anything in return. So why is Krishna apparently giving material gains and material benefits for this month of Kartik? And Gopal Bhatta Goswami and Shripad Sanatan Goswami in the Hari Bhakti Vilas very beautifully explain that Krishna very well knows that if he gives spiritual benefits, people are so blind in Kali Yuga that they will not be able to comprehend it. Our mind is such, our conditioning is such that if material benefits are given, we can resonate to it. It is relatable to us. ये करने से धन मिलेगा, ये करने से सिद्धि प्राप्त होगी. By doing this, one will become famous. By doing this, they will get more wealth. By performing Kartik Vrat, one will become more pious and so on and so forth. These things are relatable to us. One will become strong, intelligent. These things are relatable. If Krishna says that by performing Kartik Vrat, one will become a very pure devotee, it's not very relatable to us because we only know the name pure and purity, but have not realized. So it's not relatable. We cannot resonate to that frequency. But money, fame, and all these things is something that we can kind of relate to. So on purpose, Krishna and also Gopal Bhatta Goswami and also Sanatan Goswami in Hari Bhakti Vilas time and again give the material benefits of Kartik, so that at least by seeing the material benefits, people are inspired to perform. Not that we should be performing for material benefits, but it is primarily meant for those who have no faith. Those who have no faith. So if Krishna says, okay, by performing this month of Kartik, one becomes very wealthy, one will have a lot of wealth, then you will see the whole of India will perform Kartik Vrat. The whole world will perform. Jahan bhi paise ki baat aati hai, sab karenge. So Krishna and our acharyas are giving material benefits so that it's relatable. But that's not the essence of the month of Kartik. The essence of performing this month of Kartik is to become Ananya Bhaktas of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, Ananya Bhaktas of Srimati Radharani. So if someone like this Dhaneshwar performs the Vrat of Kartik accidentally, he didn't mean to. He had no idea of performing Kartik, but still he was not sent to hell. How much more benefit can a devotee obtain by performing Kartik Vrat sincerely and seriously? If by accidentally performing, one gets Agyata, Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti. Agyata means unknowingly, and Bhakti Unmukhi Sukriti means transcendental benefits. If by accidentally, unknowingly performing this Vrat of Kartik, if someone is not going to hell and is becoming a follower of Kubera and a servant of Kubera, how much more can a devotee obtain by performing this Vrat of Kartik sincerely and religiously for spiritual benefits? What highest spiritual gain awaits all of us, dear devotees? So Krishna is telling this story to Satyabhama to inspire all of us that if he performed Kartik accidentally and this is what he got, my dear devotees, please perform this month of Kartik with full seriousness and full intensity. You see in India, generally during Diwali and Holi and all these festivals, you will have sale, 50% off, 25% off, 75% off. And seeing that, everyone will go to purchase. Whether they want or not, that's a second question. But because there is sale, you will go into the shop. Everyone does this. Because there is a sale, you enter that shop. Similarly, this month of Kartik is almost like that. Sale. By performing this month of Kartik, in 30 days, one can get Radha and Krishna. This month is very, very powerful. In 30 days, one can get Radha and Krishna. You see, many times you have crash course. Learn English in 30 days. Learn Hindi in 30 days. Similarly, Kartik is go back home, back to Godhead in 30 days. This month is so powerful that one can go back home, back to Godhead in 30 days if performed seriously with full intensity. So this is one story that comes from the Padma Puran that Krishna is personally telling Satyabhama and reminding all of us of the glories of the month of Kartik. Of course, there are many more things to say, but we will leave that to our future discussions. But here comes an interesting point. A fundamental question that is always asked is, what are the do's and don'ts? What are the do's and don'ts? क्या करना चाहिए और क्या नहीं करना चाहिए? हमेशा होती है. प्रभु जी, कार्तिक का मास है, हम क्या करें? What should we do? Because we hear so many different devotees say different things and different devotees practicing different things. So what are the things that I can do? Here are a few things that we can do that I have seen generally devotees doing it, and it's also mentioned in the Shastra. We can either do all of them, or a couple of them, or one of them, or neither of them. You can see Yatha Shakti. Based on our bodily abilities and our strength and our inspiration, you can decide what you want to do. I am just going to read out a few things. You can decide what you want to do on this month of Kartik. So here it goes. First thing, we start with the don'ts. Kya nahi karna chahiye? What are the don'ts in this month of Kartik? Generally, we find devotees give up the things that they like. Whatever they like, they give it up, at least for 30 days. And the biggest thing that we all like is prasadam. इससे बढ़कर और कुछ नहीं है. Katha, Kirtan, all these things are still secondary. Prasadam is our life and soul. It is our life's companion, prasadam. So generally we find devotees cut down on their eating. Some follow no sweets. Some follow no fried items. Some follow eating once a day. Some follow not eating after sunset. Some follow eating only Ekadashi. Some follow something called as Havishya. You see, Havishya is mentioned in the Bhagavatam. The gopis did Havishya to get Krishna. What is Havishya? Havishya is something very austere. Very, very austere. It is nothing but unspiced, unsalted khichdi. Na namak hai, na mirch masala hai. Unspiced, unsalted khichdi for 30 days. That is Havishya. So that is very austere. And the gopis did that. So of course, if someone is on that level and want to be that intense, one can follow it. We will see in the 10th canto, the mention of Havishya will be there. And if we just go online and put Havishya, we will find in ISKCON Desire Tree also the recipe to make Havishya. So that is also there. But that's the highest form of austerity. I am just giving few things that devotees do. I am not saying we have to do it. You can pick and you can select what you want to do. That is first. Giving up things that we are very attached to, that we like. Second and most important, focusing on the first verse of Upadeshamrit. Vacho Vegam, controlling the tongue, controlling the speech. No criticizing devotees. No gossips. No unnecessary prajalpa. ये प्रभु जी ने ये किया, ये माता जी ने ये किया, क्रिकेट में ये चल रहा है, वर्ल्ड कप है, विराट कोहली ने ये किया, जो बाइडेन इज हियर, नरेंद्र मोदी इज गोइंग देयर. Not required. Not required. The world is not going to change. 30 days, if we don't discuss, dear devotees, the world is not going to change. It's going to be the same. We, by discussing non-KC activities, nothing's going to change. So, Vacho Vegam, as much as possible, Vacho Vegam, controlling our speech, discussing and speaking only Krishna Katha, hearing only Krishna Katha, as much as possible. Now, of course, those who are having a working profession, have to go out and work, you have to speak things that are non-KC, but we can just limit ourselves to that, because that is something that we cannot give up. We have to make money, so that we speak. But apart from that, as much as possible, wherever it's possible, we don't discuss anything that is devoid of KC. We should have this strict rule. This is a big no. No prajalpa, no gossips, no criticizing anyone. Throughout the 11 months, we are always doing all these things. This 1 month, let us consciously control our tongue. And not just that, but everything. Vacha Vegam, Manasa Krodha Vegam, Jivha Vegam, Udara Upasta Vegam. These 6 items that are mentioned. Purity inside and purity outside. Now, these are 2 don'ts that we can follow. Controlling our tongue and giving up things that we like. What are the do's that we can do? It's a big list of do's that we can do. First thing, during the month of Kartik, the first day of Kartik, that is today, devotees take a sankalpa. Sankalpa means oath. They take a sankalpa. In Mathura, devotees go to Vishram Ghat, the place where Krishna, after killing Kamsa, he took Vishram. So in Mathura, devotees go to Vishram Ghat, and there they take sankalpa. In Vrindavan, they go to Keshi Ghat, and there they take sankalpa. But we, if we are in Vrindavan, great, we can do it. But if we are not in Vrindavan currently, and wherever we are, then we cannot go to Keshi Ghat, we cannot go to Vishram Ghat, we cannot go to any ghat. So what is the best we can do? We can take Ganga water or Yamuna water in our hand. You see, most temples, you will find Ganga water. In a blue bottle, the ISKCON gift shops, you will find a blue bottle Ganga water. So we can take Ganga water, and Ganga water in our hand, we can take sankalpa in front of our deities. Deities are our sakshi. Deities are our sakshi. We are accountable to our deities. We take Ganga water or Yamuna water, and in front of deities, we take the sankalpa. And before taking sankalpa, there is a very beautiful verse that is given in the Shastras. We can chant this verse, and on the morning of Sharat Purnima, the first day of Kartik, with Ganga water in our hand, in front of our deities, we can take this sankalpa and chant this verse. Kartikeham karishyami pratasnanam janardana prityartha tava devesha damodara maya sahaha. Kartikeham karishyami. In the month of Kartik, I am going to do this. What? Pratasnanam janardana. My dear Janardana, I am taking an early morning bath in this holy month of Kartik. Why? Prityartha tava devesha. I am going to take the sankalpa now. Why? Prityartha tava. To please you, my dear Lord. Not for myself. I am taking a cold water morning bath in this holy month of Kartik. Why? To please you. I am going to take sankalpa now. Why? To please you, my dear Lord. Prityartha tava devesha. I am doing this to please you, my dear Lord, not for myself. Prityartha tava devesha damodara maya saha. And with Damodara as our Sakshi, with Ganga water in our hand, with deity in front of us, and our mind fully absorbed in Vishram Ghat or Keshi Ghat or in the land of Vrindavan, we chant this verse and now we take Sankalpa as to what we are going to do. We tell it to our deities. Very important, we keep our vrat confidential. Apanera bhajana katha na kahibo yatha tatha. Our bhajan, we should not go around telling everyone that, oh, I am doing so many rounds, I am doing this vrat, I am doing that vrat. Our acharyas say, when our vrat we keep telling it to others, we will lose that strength to sustain to it. We will lose all the strength. And we would have seen this. When we share our vrat with others, our bhajan, we lose the strength. Naturally, we lose the strength. So bhajan should always be like camphor. When camphor is kept inside closed doors, the power is retained. When the doors are opened, there is sublimation. Camphor loses its strength. So our bhajan should be inside the closed doors of our heart, not telling anyone. Very secretive. Very secretive. Our acharyas are saying this. Apanera bhajana katha na kahibo jata tatha. Don't keep speaking about your bhajan. Keep it very confidential. What are the do's we can do? So now we are taking sankalpa with Ganga water, our deities, with the verse in our kantha. Now we are taking sankalpa. First, very important, trying to wake up in Brahma Muhurta every single day and chant Harinam. Not being lazy and getting up at 9 o'clock, 9:30, 10 o'clock when the sun is already out. As much as possible, getting up in Brahma Muhurta to chant Harinam. This is point number 1. Point number 2, attending the temple Mangalarti or performing Mangalarti to our deities in our home, whichever is feasible, whichever is convenient, whichever is feasible. If we are living very close to the temple and if it's possible to go every day in the morning, we can attend the temple Arti, temple Mangalarti. But if that's not possible every single day, the best we can do is at least in front of our deities, we can chant Mangalarti. Itna to kar hi sakte hain. We can either offer Gandha, Pushpa, Dhoop, Deep, Naividya. If that is also not possible, at least Agarbatti and Samsara Dava. It might just take 2, 3, 4 minutes. That's it. Quickly we can chant Mangalarti prayers. So offering Mangalarti either in the temple or in our home. First was to wake up in Brahma Muhurta, chant Harinam. Second is offering Mangalarti either in the temple or at our home. Third, many devotees do this. They have a niyam that every single day they will offer one sweet to their Thakurji. Every day they will offer one sweet to Thakurji. So before Kartik starts, they would have made 30 sweets. And every day they will offer one sweet to their Gopal or to their Gaurnita or to their Radha Krishna. Every day offering one sweet. Now, a follow-up question that comes that Prabhuji, if we have given up eating sweets and if we offer sweet to Krishna, oh sweet ka kya kare fir? Oh to sweet waste ho jayega. That's a common question that will come up. Well, what we can do is there will be someone in the congregation who is accepting sweets. Most time, if there are children in the family, they may probably not follow this vrat. So they can have it. If they are also austere and they are also following, then we can give it to the local temple. When the local temple is distributing food for life, like you have in India, food for life, when they are distributing, they will give the sweet also. And outsiders will definitely not say no for sweet. Wherever there is sweet, people naturally accept it. So at least here in our Seattle temple, every day in the evening, when visitors come, there is free prasadam. So if you are living here in Seattle, you can, whatever sweet you make, you can give it to the local temple. And when they're distributing food in the evening, prasadam in the evening, they can give it to the locals. So you are offering to your Thakurji, at the same time is not being wasted, while at the same time some newcomers, locals, they are getting benefits. So every day offering one sweet to your Thakurji. This is one. Fourth, those who are Brahmanically initiated, offering Gayatri Mantras 3 times a day, 30 days, which means 90 sittings. In a day, you have morning, afternoon, evening, and like that 30 days. So 3 times 30 is 90 sittings, Gayatri Mantras, those who are Brahmanically initiated. Fifth, very important, increasing our japa. 1 round, 2 rounds, 4, 5, 10, whatever is convenient for us. But let us be realistic in the vrat that we take. Let us not give a very high number. Sometimes you see on day 1, we say that, my dear Lord, I'm going to chant 32 rounds. And then day 2, it becomes 31. Day 3, it becomes 30. Day 4, it becomes 29. And by the time it's day 30, we are back to 16 rounds. So let us keep a realistic count that we can maintain. Krishna is Satyam Param Dhimahi. He's the absolute truth. So in front of him, there can be nothing that is false. If we are giving a word to Krishna, let us make sure we stick to that word and let us not go back on our vrat. So increasing our japa, yatha shakti, whatever is feasible. Sixth, very important, stava and stuti, daily kirtan for our Thakurji or Vaishnav bhajans, singing Vaishnav bhajans for our deities. What are the Vaishnav bhajans that we can sing? One, Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande. Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande glorifies Krishna. When Krishna is glorified, Radhika is happy. But now, we have to make Krishna also happy. So we sing Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande and Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. By singing Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande, Krishna is glorified, which means Radhika is happy. And by singing Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite, Radhika is glorified, which means Krishna is happy. And when Radharani is happy and Krishna is happy, the devotee is happy. So our mood is not just pleasing Radharani, it is also pleasing Krishna. We want to make sure that both are happy. Jivane Nidane Nityam Radha Krishna Gatir Mama, as Jiva Goswami says. We want to please both of them. Our life and soul are both Radharani and Krishna. So Stuti and Stava. What are some other things that we can sing? Nandanandashtakam and Radha Kripa Kataksha together. These are all Jodi in pairs. We glorify Krishna and we glorify Radharani. So Krishna Deva Bhavantam Vande along with Radhe Jaya Jaya Madhava Daite. Another pair is Nandanandashtakam along with Radha Kripa Kataksha. Apart from this, what we can sing? Of course, our Damodarashtakam prayers. Needless to say. This anyway, we all do it. Another thing that we can do is chanting of the Gopi Geet prayers. For those devotees who've been to Krishna Balaram Mandir, we'll see that all 30 days of Kartik, in Krishna Balaram Mandir, we have Gopi Geet every day in the evening. And about 150 to 200 people all together will be chanting Gopi Geet. It's such a beautiful feeling, dear devotees. About 200 devotees, all in Krishna hall, will be chanting Gopi Geet together. And it will be so, so, so beautiful. If we have not experienced it, it's worth experiencing it. It's worth experiencing. So Krishna Balaram temple does that. So we can chant Gopi Geet prayers. If not all 30 days, at least on the festival days like Baulashtami, Gopashtami, Govardhan Puja, Diwali, etc. If that is also difficult, at least on the 2 Ekadashis of Kartik. If that is also difficult, at least on Sharad Purnima, that is today. Because the Gopis chanted Gopi Geet on Sharad Purnima night. It was chanted tonight. So at least today, if not all the days. So Stava and Stuti, this is point number 6. So I just repeat. First, wake up in Brahma Muhurta and chant Harinam. Second, Mangalarti. Third, offering sweets to our Thakurji. Fourth, chanting of the Gayatri Mantras. Fifth, increasing our Japa, something that we can keep up to, sustain. Sixth, Stava and Stuti. Seventh, worshipping Tulasi Devi, Vrinda Devi. Eighth, hearing Shastra every day. At least 30 minutes. At least 30 minutes every day hearing of Shastra. From Prabhupada, from our Gurudev, or from our Siksha Guru. Hearing at least 30 minutes every single day. Number 9, giving in charity. This is very important. Giving in charity. There are two things, Anga Shuddhi and Sangha Shuddhi. Anga Shuddhi means bodily purification. And Sangha Shuddhi means getting purified in the association of devotees. So for Anga Shuddhi, we are doing our bhajan. We are hearing, doing the chanting and hearing. And for Sangha Shuddhi, getting purified by the association, as Rupa Goswami says, Dadati Pratigranati. We give in charity and we accept. We give gifts and we accept in return. This is Vaishnava dealings. And this can be done in the month of Kartik, charity. Next, again, very, very popular and very common, offering ghee lamps to Damodar. But this we can do with a little twist. We can offer ghee lamps with dried tulasi stick. Sripada Indra Prabhu would say that when you offer dried tulasi stick, when you wrap around a cotton and set that on fire with a dried tulsi stick, and when you offer that to Damodar, we get 1 billion times the benefit. 1 billion times the benefit. This was Indra Prabhu. Becoming spiritually greedy for making advancement. So two ways, either we offer with normal ghee lamp or with dried tulasi. That tulasi who has left her body, not ki zor zabardasti we take dried sticks from her, not like that. She who has naturally left her body, we take dried tulasi stick, wrap it around with cotton and light that, and we offer to Damodar. So offering lamps with dried tulasi stick, this has a lot of benefit. And last but very important, if we have Vraj or Ganga water or Yamuna water, sprinkling that on our head. If it's Ganga water and Yamuna water, sprinkling that on our head, or Radha Kund, Sham Kund, making sure that every single day we are purified by these waters. And if it is Vraj, then we can, just like we put tilak, we put little water and we put tilak. Similarly, if it's Vraj, we can put little water and we can nicely put it on our forehead. You see in ISKCON temples, after Guru Puja, they will put chandan, nice cooling chandan. Similarly, if you have Vraj, you can put it in water and nicely put it on your forehead. So every day we have Vraj for 30 days. These are few things that we can do. Of course, it's a very long list, but these are few things that are feasible and many devotees do it. And if this is done properly with a sincere heart, what happens? Drishtva parishramam Krishna, kripaya asit swabandhane. Swabandhane, Krishna gets bound. Drishtva parishramam. When Krishna sees our parishram, when Krishna sees our effort, kripaya asit swabandhane. Krishna gets bound in the heart. And after all, dear devotees, we are doing Kartik. We are doing bhakti for only this one thing. That may Damodar be bound in our hearts. Just like Maya bound him, may he be bound in our hearts also. So having said this, these are few do's and don'ts that we can do in this month of Kartik. And this was just day 1 of our discussion. We will continue and we will take our discussion ahead in the following days also. And throughout the course of discussion, we will also try to jump in to the pastimes, to the ocean-like pastimes of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and try to take some life lessons out from his very wonderful pastimes. Once again, dear devotees, thank you very much for joining. We'll again meet tomorrow. Gaura Premanande, Hari Hari Bol, Shri Kartik Masa ki Jai, Srila Prabhupada ki Jai, Samasta Gaura Bhakta Vrinda ki Jai. Dai Gaura